You can see the electrical panel here is right next to the water. The wires coming out of the ground next to the water. I gotta figure this out. I'm trying to decide the best way to handle this mess. You can see they are just not wired properly. So I'm going to start a new project today, and that's the barn renovations. And we're going to start with the electrical. So here's the problem. Our electric lines are coming out of the floor in front of our water spigot. It's in a really bad spot. It's done wrong. It's a mess. It's dangerous. So I got to redo it. I showed you guys previously how these wires, they're subject to damage here. And the box placement is not right. The wires are not properly clamped or run out of the box, and the whole barn is wired pretty badly. So I'm going to be fixing it. The first thing I just want to do is shut off the power, pull these wires, and reroute them in a better way. So I'm going to be working on that today, just getting it started. You can see out here I did dig down so that I could trace the wires, and my hole's filled with water, but I'm going to work with that. Let's make the best of it. The wires are right behind that pipe. That's where the water comes up. So my idea is to unhook the box and just pull them down and see what we can do. Now I don't have power in here because I just shut it off inside the house. So it might be hard to get some good lighting, but we'll do our best. There it is. So first thing I want to do is just mark my neutral so I remember it and I know it. Okay. Don't need it. Let me see. Let's just start. How do I break this concrete? So I gotta cut the concrete floor a little bit. I tried hitting it with a hammer. It's just so solid, it's not gonna break. I'm gonna try something, good or bad. I took my blade from my tile saw. I'm gonna put it on my circular saw and try to cut the concrete with it. The tile saw blade is 7 inches. This saw takes a 6.5, so it won't fit in there. I'll have to take the blade guard off. There's a little split ring that holds it on. There. So there it is. I got my tile cutting blade on my circular saw, and let's see if it cuts the floor. Let me just wet it down a little bit, and I'll probably wet it as I go. Okay. That's a start. That's a start. It's gonna weaken it. If I can make some weak parts, it might break. Man, I wish I could get at it this way. Excellent. So what I've done so far, pull that old panel off the wall. You saw me pull those wires down, and I got through that concrete floor. That was a challenge, but we made it. So, concrete floor broke, and when we were sending the wires up the wall in a conduit to keep it protected, unfortunately I gotta keep it here because I don't have enough wire to work with, but I think I can get it up higher in the wall because I'm coming in closer to the wall. So I cut this piece of plywood to put on the wall here to hook the electrical panel to, the new one. So I think this is all coming out good so far. I'm pretty happy with it. Whew. Here's the new panel we're going to be doing. Let me decide how I want it. just need a couple inches of wire to get into the electrical panel.
Wow.
It's like such an awkward hole to dig in. Two of the wires are long enough, but for some reason the third wire is a little short. I could lower the panel, but I really was hoping to just pull some slack out. Okay, I'm almost there. What I'm trying to do is loosen up the dirt over the wires so I can just lift them up a little bit and get the couple inches I need in there. I almost got it. I think I got it. Finally got it down deep enough to get that extra wire that I needed. So you can see this is just so dark in here that I can't really film it properly. But what I'm going to do is just get these wires hooked up to the breaker. I'm going to cut this one back because it's pretty corroded and oxidized. So I'm going to get some fresh wire there. And once I get it hooked up, get some power back in here, hopefully we can get some light working again. But I'll give you a look after I get that hooked up. Okay guys, we made some big progress. I'm really sorry that it's so dark in there. I want to show you guys what I'm doing, but I could just see it's just so hard to get light in there. And that's one of the problems I'm going to be fixing with this. We need more lighting in the barn. But I'll give you the basic rundown of what happened. So we pulled the wires up the conduit after getting enough slack to get it to where I wanted. Cleaned them up, stripped them back, and I cleaned off the aluminum. It had some corrosion on it, so I just really cleaned it up. After it was really clean and shiny again, I coated it with this stuff. And this is basically, it's a antioxidant joint compound, and what it does is stops the aluminum from oxidizing. You really want a good clean connection. So after coating the wires, I just stuck them into the proper places on the main breaker inside the electrical box and tightened them down. I like to tighten them down with this tool. It's basically a torque screwdriver. I have a bigger torque wrench too, but for this box the screwdriver worked fine. And basically you can just turn this knob to set how tight you want the bolts to be, the screws to be, and it'll pop when it gets there. It'll click and stop turning. I always like to torque down my breaker box stuff because a lot of people skip that step, but it is pretty important. In fact, if you ever looked at the side of a circuit breaker, there's all kinds of specs on the side, and it actually gives the torque ratings how tight to make them when you tighten down the screws. So I always try to follow that. Sometimes I go by hand, you know, a lot of people do, but I do use this when I can, and it works really well to make sure it's the right tightness. After everything was tightened up, I just put the little protectors over the connections, and it was done. The electrical box is more or less hooked up. Oh, I also sent a ground line outside the barn here, just drilled a hole through the metal, sent it out, and I was going to hook it up to the ground rod that they had right here. And something odd happened. When I went to touch it, I noticed that it turned very easily. A ground rod should be in, close to 8 feet, and it shouldn't be loose. And I tried pulling on it, and it felt like it slid. So, it's kind of bothering me. I don't know if they put a short ground rod in, didn't put it in deep enough. I'm going to pull on this. I hate to pull it out, but I'm going to pull on it and see what happens. I got to make sure it's safe. Well, that turned out perfect. Because that ground rod was loose, I was able to pull it out, straighten it out, and get it in the ground all 8 feet, which is actually better now. So I'm going to go ahead and bury it over. I got the copper wire connected. I actually rerouted the copper to go out the bottom now that the ground rod is lower, and I can do it properly. And speaking of the ground wire, I know some people are going to be concerned because our electrical box is a 3-wire service and it's a sub panel, and everybody says you have to do a 4-wire hookup, which means hot, neutral, ground. And here we only have 3 wires coming from the house, the hot, neutral, and we have a ground rod out here. So while in most places this isn't up to code today, it wasn't many years ago that it was allowed. A 3-wire hookup isn't terribly dangerous. There's just a better, safer way to do it now, so they've updated the codes. But it'll be fine. Since we have an existing 3-wire service here, I'm going to go ahead and keep it and make it work. And it's no problem. I'm not showing anybody how to do stuff. I'm not trying to show you how to wire. I'm just showing you what I'm doing, and I feel totally safe and comfortable with the system we have in place for now. And if in the future the service needs to be upgraded, it's actually not that hard to do. It's just not something I'm wanting to do right now, but we won't have to redo too much to get it switched over to a true 4-wire service. If none of this makes sense to you, don't worry about it. Yeah. I think it's time to start filling this mess back in. Is there anything else I have to do down here? So we got it done. We got the new electric panel installed in the barn, and it looks really good.
I haven't even looked at it yet.
Yeah, it was a mess out there, as you guys saw. Muddy, disgusting, and had to do some work to get it done, but I think it turned out good in the end. I got most of that hole filled in. I just got to rake up some more dirt, and I don't know, it seems to be missing dirt. I was trying to explain this outside. I'm not going to go over it again. I think I said it clearly, but the main point I want to get across is electrical work is always kind of a sensitive topic on YouTube. I feel very comfortable doing electrical work, so I'm okay with it. It's not the perfect system, but it's going to be 100 times better than what was out there.
Yeah, it's a mess.
It'll work as a sub panel, even though it's not up to the current standards. It'll still work just the same. And so don't worry about the electricity. We got it. We know what we're doing. It'll be okay. And it's going to be perfect. Right now, I could turn the power on. I'm not going to. I'm not ready for that. But the panel is done, and that feels good. So the next step is going to be getting electrical run throughout the barn, doing lights, outlets, all that stuff. So I don't know when I'm going to work on that, but I'm going to try to get it done soon because our electric mower is out there, and we like to keep that charged up. And it's really hard to do anything out there without light, as you guys saw. And because it is so dark out there, it was really hard. I wanted to show you guys the finished product, and you saw me doing it, but you didn't get a good feel of it. I'm definitely going to show you when we get better lighting in there. I have a bag of concrete mix that I'm going to use on the floor to fix where I had to break away the concrete. It's going to just be all normal back together. It's going to look really good. We're going to end it here, but that was stage 1, step 1 of the barn renovation. We really appreciate you watching and coming along today. We'll be back soon with another video, so until next time, take care.
Bye. Where's Maverick?
I was just digging in the hole a little. Oh, what? I was trying to uncover those wires.
You took a mud bath?
What do you mean? I was just digging. Hi, Maverick. I was just digging in that hole, getting those wires ready. What are you doing?
I'm going to get some popcorn right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it take 1 minute. You're going to take 3 minutes and I will get
Mm-hmm.
I take a bath.
Why? What's wrong?
It is Nazi. No.
I was just digging in the hole. I had to fix those wires for the barn.
You got that muddy just to go in a hole? Did you do that on purpose?
You're going to get a bath.
I need a bath?
Let me watch a movie.
Okay.
Uh,
Do you want to hug me?
No,
Why?
to a Nazi.
Are you okay?
Come in the house.
I don't think I have any more digging to do at least.
Good.
So, you watch a fun of money.
Maverick, come here. It's okay.
You just going to come in there now.
Is this bad?
Uh-huh.
Did I do something bad?
Mm-hmm.
Why?